Hello to all my gay best friends. To those of you who have followed my journey so far, welcome back. And to all new listeners, hello, and how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful, positive day doing whatever the fuck you're doing, staying home and being safe, I hope. So, welcome. Today is an exciting day for me because I've brought in a new member to the family. He is someone I've known for quite some time now, and I am thrilled to introduce him to you. I consider him to be a world traveler, ridiculously smart, talented, and a very close friend, and will give new life to this podcast. From halfway around the world, directly live from Singapore. Hello, Ross.
Oh, you were you talking about me?
You,
That
exactly.
oh my oh wow, well, I'm definitely honored. I hope I can live up to that, but that's very sweet. Thank you and hello.
So now I thought for our first official episode together, we can make this a little get to know Ross better kind of thing so people can get to know the real you. So I've
Really?
compiled a list of 20 questions and we're going
Okay.
to sort of like speed through it.
Oh, okay. Sounds a bit like therapy, but there we go.
All right, you have to keep it real and honest. You think you're up for that?
Yeah, yeah, I will do my best.
All right, so full disclosure, Ross has no idea what my questions are, and I don't know what he's going to say to almost all of these questions because only like one or two out of the 20 I actually know the answer to.
Oh
So,
heavens.
all right, so we're going to start off
Yeah.
nice and easy, okay?
That's what you say. Yeah.
Okay, so how old are you?
That's you can't ask a gentleman his age. I'm 44.
44. Okay.
A
And
nice round number, isn't it? Like 44. It's like two ducks, that used to be 22, but now they're 44, something like that. I don't know. You guys don't do bingo, that's not kind of a thing you have in the States, is it?
it's not a huge part. It's for
You don't
older
know.
women,
Yeah,
older
yeah. So
people.
so so bingo callers would normally, say things like two fat ladies, 88, and things like that. That's a kind of way that bingo callers would do. And 22 would be two ducks in a row. But so I'm just thinking that, 44 is like the two ducks grown up, you know.
Okay, well, I could tell you in numerology, 44 is 8, which is kind of like infinity. So this will be a good
Infinity or
year for you, right?
insanity? What did you say? I couldn't.
All right, let's go down. I'm just gonna try to start with the easier ones.
Okay. Well, you
So
started with something that was quite difficult, actually. That I found that very exposing.
do you, do you speak any other languages?
No, no, no,
Like,
not at all. I struggle. Like I can do little bits and pieces of little things. I can read Danish kind of okay. I can get by because I lived in Denmark for a little while. I'm trying to teach myself Japanese. I'm trying to teach myself Spanish. I'm trying to, I learned German and French in school. Oh, I suppose I can speak a little bit of German, a little bit of French. When I'm there, it kind of sort of starts absorbing into you, which I find really fascinating because you sort of think, oh, I've got no idea any of this. And then, you start being surrounded by people speaking French all the time, and suddenly you can
you
deal with
speak
it a little bit.
you
Yeah,
speak French. Great.
it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Like I'm not very good at all, and I'm sure people look at me and think, oh my God, why is he even bothering? But definitely in living in Denmark, it's very hard to speak Danish because everyone speaks English so well. There really isn't anyone. There's probably like 10% of the population in Denmark who wouldn't speak English. So it's very hard to try and sort of get in and start speaking the language. So, but reading it,
Okay.
because all the official documents that I had to deal with, everything like that was all in Danish. So I got pretty okay with that.
Okay. So I know you live in Singapore now, right?
I do.
Obviously, you've been in Denmark and you're from Australia. So
Correct.
how many countries have you been to?
Oh, a number? Um,
Well, you could rattle them
oh,
off.
that's really kind of difficult. Well, I didn't start traveling anywhere until I was about 20 years old. So I hadn't left Australia until I was 20. And then I went to the US. and I spent some time in New York because I love the theater. I love Broadway. I've really loved New York. So I've been to the US probably 12, 15 times for various things. I have done some work in the US, San Francisco, a little bit in New York, but I really admire those two sides of the country, which I've spent time in. I haven't spent time in the middle. I really haven't. Like the most middle that I've ever done, I went to Vegas once, and that's kind of
That's as far off coast you've gotten.
well, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that,
Hmm.
I know that sounds terrible, but it's just like opportunities sort of hard to come by to do anything else. There's so many places I would love to go and so many things I would love to do, but I just haven't. As far as America, South America, North America, I've only been to the United States. So
Okay.
I've spent a lot of time in Asia and a lot of time in Europe. So I've been to I lived in Denmark and I worked in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Spent a lot of time in those countries, France and Germany, quite a lot. Poland I went to quite a fair bit.
Mm.
I Asia, I've spent a lot of time. So I live now in Singapore. I had been into Singapore many times. Really love it. Hong Kong, I've been to dozens of times. Hong Kong, mainland China. I've been to Macau. I've been to Vietnam, Thailand. I've spent an awful lot of time in Thailand. I've been to Indonesia. Yeah.
You
There's
are
not
world traveled. Like, I wasn't kidding in the introduction. Like, you are. I had no idea so many different places that you've been.
I
I've
thought you were going
only
to say
known
you
the
didn't
ones I
realize
just
they
mentioned.
existed, but they do. But yeah, I think that's about it. And I've been almost, I've been to uh, where have I been in the UK? I usually because I go to London quite a lot. I've been to Ireland. I think that's it. I haven't been to Scotland or Wales. So yeah, that's probably about it.
Okay,
Um,
well, the next question would be, where haven't you been that you'd like to go to?
oh, so there's some interesting places. Oh, and I didn't mention Japan, which is I've been to Japan many times, and I love Japan. I'd love to go to South Korea. I think that'd be quite interesting. Um, where else would I like to go? There's definitely places in Europe that I'd like to go, but sort of that's kind of generally speaking. There's a lot because there's just a lot of places in Europe to go, and I would really love to do that. But I think like realistically, like the next place that I'd probably go that I've never been is probably Korea.
Okay.
I think that would be a lot of fun. I think they know how to have a good time.
Okay. Well, what confuses you most about Americans?
Well, what
Because we've kind
confuses
of
me?
touched upon this a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll tell you about something that did happen to me once when I was already in the US. I was in New York, and I was going to be traveling to your home, your hometown where you live now, which is home. I was going to be going to Disney World, and and I had booked something, and I can't remember. This was a very long time ago, but I made a call. And got to like the Disney call center, and I was speaking to a man with a very pronounced Southern drawl. His accent was very strong, and so I was doing my best to articulate as much as possible, so he could clearly understand everything I was saying. And a little way into the conversation, he did stop me and he said, "Look, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to stop you because I can't understand your accent."
Oh,
And that, that kind of thing, and people have said, no one's ever said to me, "I can't understand your accent." But for that to come from someone with such a pronounced accent to me, which was extremely hard to understand. And I would assume a lot of people from different parts of the US would have trouble understanding this man. He just had this really slow and drawn out twang of a. It was pretty thick. I was insulted. Because
It
I'm
takes a
thinking
lot
this.
to insult you.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a touch. But he really, I'm just thinking, how can you be so blind with your ears to not understand that maybe your accent is not as easy to understand, and you're not doing anything to try and make yourself easily understood. So I just asked him very politely, can I just speak to someone else? Because I was hoping that I'd get someone else, and I got someone else who had a pretty kind of blandish kind of accent, which was not a problem, and she didn't have any kind of issue whatsoever understanding me, and we were fine. But
Okay.
that has stayed with me for more than 10 years, and I just remember being just so confused about how is this possible? How can people not know, that they have that that there is this thing going on that's a two-way street. Sometimes the issue is going both ways, and I definitely got it with that guy. Whereas when you come from another country, when you're in Europe, and people have got different accents all the time, and in Asia people have different accents all the time, people are aware that everyone's from somewhere else, but I don't get that in the US. Not with everybody,
Okay.
but with a good chunk of people. There are people that just think that everyone else is wrong and they're right, and that's a very crazy kind of thing, and that's not what I'm used to.
Okay. All right. So, do you practice any religion, and if so, which one?
Oh, if I did, I'd be very bad at it. No, I'm not. I'm not religious at all. Actually, it's a terrible thing to say. I'm quite anti-religion. Um,
Okay.
I
So
live.
many people are.
Yeah, like I don't feel I'm alone. But that's a very controversial topic.
There, it is. And they get even more personal as we go
Okay.
along. But
Okay.
what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve.
Uh-huh.
Um, this is a really hard. Sorry, I am really struggling to think because a lot of things really piss me off. And you're just asking me to pick one of them. No, I'll tell you the thing that I really don't like. I don't like people in positions of power that don't understand what they're doing.
Okay.
That really annoys me, and annoys me on a personal level. It gets me, in my working life. It gets me, at a global level when I look at, the leaders of some places around the world. Those kind of things are kind of scary. I can change jobs, and I can move around and walk away from those people, but it's very hard to move away from people that are leading, countries, and making decisions about people's lives and all of that kind of stuff. Like, that's really difficult to deal with. So yeah, idiots in positions of power, hate it,
Okay.
absolutely hate it, detest it.
And your biggest fear?
My biggest fear. Oh, see, it changes a lot. I think before I'd lived overseas, my biggest fear was just leaving, like leaving
Okay.
the home that I knew. Um,
Well, you've
and
conquered that.
yeah, really easily, really, really
You just
easily.
haven't stopped running.
Exactly, exactly. Like, actually, okay, if we want to get really personal, it's not my biggest fear, but definitely one of them is going back to Australia and not being successful. You know,
Okay.
that is a concern that I have. It's not my biggest fear. What am I afraid of? Actually, let's get really deep here. I'm afraid of getting sick and being close to death and not being able to control my own death if I was really that ill.
See, that's where we kind of sort of get interesting. What type of guys are you interested in? What really tickles your fancy?
Okay. I'll tell. This is quite current, and this is quite. I'd like a guy who was single. Um, That would be really good because unfortunately, most of the guys that I meet and who are really wonderful guys, and they've been all different. I have to say, that
Different how? Like different physically,
yeah,
different
different
intellectually,
cultural
experiences.
background, different, physically different, different kinds of jobs, different, all this, different in so many ways. But the only thing that they all have in common is that they're already, and most of them are actually married. Um, and I'm like, well, at least, I've got sort of good taste in the fact that, I'm attracted to someone who's marriage material, because that's already been proven. Uh, but
Oh,
you're
but
right.
sweetie, you have no morals.
I, I
So
wish I wish that was the case.
why does that? Why would
Look,
that stop you?
I'm very picky. I am being very
Okay.
picky.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that from the point of view that I'd really like to find someone who was, an equal, and who could just share the burden of life, but who could also enjoy the fruits of what you do. Single, like just be single, you know?
Single and breathing. Okay.
Well, God,
At the halfway mark.
why did you put the second point on there? You only made it more complicated.
Okay, so what age did you come out?
Oh, very good question. Was I still 18? I think I might have been 18 or 19. I'm a bit fuzzy on that, but I had just left home, and yeah, so it was past school, and I can tell you the reason why there was a delay. I worked in local theatre where I lived, and
And they didn't know.
no, there was a guy. Well, there's a couple of guys there, and they were obviously gay guys, and they were just horrible people. They were just really,
Ah,
really, really horrible people. And I remember my mother asked me once. She asked me if I was gay, and I said no. God, no, of course not.
because you didn't want to be associated with them.
Exactly. That's what I
Okay.
thought was a requirement. And when you're younger, you sort
Some
of.
people still think that though.
Well, yeah, and some
Mm.
people do it really, really well. But I have an amazing story of this lovely woman, and she had, two young boys, and one of the young boys one day said, when I grow up, I want to be gay. And everyone's like, really? Okay. Yeah, good on you. And they were just like, why is he saying this? This is really strange. Because he was really young. He didn't even, know anything really of what was going on. And then he mentioned it again. And so his mother asked him, why do you want to be gay? You can be, there's nothing wrong with it, but why? And he goes, well, Uncle Jeff and Uncle Michael, they're gay and they have a pool.
So that was one of a requirement, I guess. I
I,
mean,
and he saw that as like, well, if I grow up and if I'm gay, I'll have a pool, and I really love this one. So smart kid. Didn't quite have it correct, but I did the same thing when I was, 15, 16, 17, just seeing these horrible people going, I don't want to, that's not who I am.
they
No,
don't deserve a pool.
exactly. But yeah, they were just really horrible people. And it wasn't until I left home and left, because I actually had to physically leave the area where I lived, to go to work, and to sort of leave high school and start university. That whole thing was, you just had to really move. There was no chance of
Hmm.
really staying at home. So everybody kind of left after high school, physically removed themselves from there. And as soon as I was away from there, I met some nice people, and I've gone, oh, I don't have to change my feelings. I can actually be this person and be a nice person. Okay, fine. And so I eventually broke down and told my sister, and then told her that she had to tell my parents.
Give her the dirty work.
Yeah, she was
Nice.
older. Come on, she could do it. But yeah, I just couldn't. I
You
just
threw her under the bus.
Yeah, but she did it because that's what
Okay.
that's what big sisters are for.
So, do you regret your first sexual experience?
No, and
No.
and actually now it's even more meaningful. Probably I did think it was, clumsy and all of that kind of stuff, but unfortunately it transpired that the guy who I'd been with for the first time, I bumped into him a few times after, here and there, and he was a nice guy. He was a really nice guy.
Rekindled or
No. Just saw him out, at clubs
okay.
and stuff like that. And like the first time it was like, oh my God, wow. And and he'd moved away. He'd moved to another city, so he would, he just sort of come and visit every now and then. And he got very much into politics, which was very strange because that wasn't who I met at all.
We're gonna go a little fluffy here on this one. Very stereotypical question. You could have a superpower, what would you have? And what would you do with it?
Superpower. Does it have to be like a traditional superpower?
No. These are your answers. I have no idea what you're gonna say. So
Yeah, if I had a superpower, it would be to oh no, I don't know. I'd love to look like Thor. I think that would be great. I would take that as a superpower.
okay. And what would you do with that?
Make everyone jealous. No, that's not a brilliant answer. I think what I'd really like to do.
You're not brilliant, so we're good.
What I'd really like to do is just have the power to play with time. I'd really love to do that. I'd really love to be able to be in control of time.
Okay.
Stop time, go back in time, move forward. You could do so much and do so much good. Imagine, being able to stop time and then just going and taking all of Trump's clothes off and then being able to just start it again. Imagine what that would do. You'd only have to do that half a dozen times and wow, destroy the man. It would be over.
Yeah. All right.
Or you put a sign in his hand that says something really horrible, like really, really horrible. And he's just boom in the middle of a press conference, got this sign in his hand, and everyone's like, "What? Really?" Like,
I don't think he could say anything more horrible than that he hasn't said.
That he hasn't already said.
Seriously.
I'm sure we could write that on a piece of,
we'll find out.
Yeah, I could think of something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite curse word? The one that makes you just smile whenever you hear it, or your go-to?
So there was a lot. So I'm so sorry. This is really, really rude of me to laugh before I've even said anything. But I tried to get people to, because I've obviously been in a lot of different places, but when I'm in Australia, or when I was living in Australia, I would often meet people from different countries and all of that kind of thing. So what I was trying to do, and like this is my favorite curse word, but it's my favorite sort of saying that I think is really important. And when anyone would blow their car horn, and you would just hear it, and because where I used to live like near a pretty congested kind of roadway. It was only two ways, and it was just madness sometimes, and people would blow their car horns, and so I would say, blow it out your ass. And I would sort of scream that, and I would explain to the people that I was with, that this is what all Australians say. And
my mother used to say that growing up. So.
Okay, there you go. But I used to say this is what all Australians say, and if you want to blend in, you have to say it as well. So I was hoping that one day I would be in some bizarre place, like, backwater of Vietnam or something, and there'd be a car horn, and I'd hear someone say, blow it out your ass. And I would know that came from me pushing that.
You.
Yeah.
All right.
So I really.
That would be your legacy that you'd left the world. That's how you know you've actually made it.
Yeah. Like, who cares
about. Every time a car horn is blown.
Yeah, who cares about 6 degrees of separation or flat Stanley or anything like that? That none of that's important. Putting a note in a bottle, like, oh fuck me, that's ridiculous. no, the blow it out your ass thing. And so, okay, I'm going to use this platform right now. If anyone's listening, and here's a car horn, this is what you need to do. You need to shout, blow it out your ass, and bring other people in. Let them do it too. It's important, because blowing your car horn when it's not necessary is just kind of horrible.
It's rude. It's air pollution.
Let me tell
pollution.
let me tell you, here in Singapore, if you do it to somebody, if you blow your car horn to somebody, like if you're stopped at a traffic light or something like that, and someone isn't moving forward on the green light in enough time, and you blow your car horn, that person will get out of the car and come to your car and say, "Do you have a problem?"
Ooh.
Welcome to Singapore. This is the way. Yeah. So you don't blow your car horn here in Singapore.
Yeah, so next time I hear a car horn,
you will. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Ross said, "Blow it out your ass."
Exactly. And
Sounds
I'll be
good.
and you know what? I'll know. I'll have a little twinge of joy at that time. I'll know. I'll know if of all you wonderful people out there in the dark, I'll know if you do it too, and I'll be very honored.
Go to favorite porn site. What's your go-to one?
Oh, that's really interesting, because lately it's been Pornhub, because they were giving away free premium to people in, when Italy was locked down the first time they gave it to them. So I'd change my VPN to Italy and have free premium Pornhub. You can't do that anymore. I kind of like going just straight to the homepage of Pornhub and seeing what it's telling me people are interested in.
Okay.
I find that quite voyeuristic,
All right.
and thinking, is this what people are really into? Oh wow, how interesting is that? And when they put out the search terms that people have used, on various porn sites, and this is what people have been looking for. But like when you go to Pornhub and one of the suggested searches is Corona, you sort of think,
On
really?
Pornhub. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You've not seen this?
I have not. I don't frequent that page.
You have to go. You seriously have to go, and you click on the search bar, and then it goes coronavirus, it goes COVID-19, and all this kind, like. And then you find there are already, porn scenes around being in quarantine. Like, so I saw one. So I went to the main page, the main page of Pornhub, and there was a scene with a woman, and her
wearing a mask.
No,
Sorry.
Not wearing a mask, but she was so, she should have been, because it would have been really hilarious. But she was there having a threesome with her stepbrother, because they were in quarantine together, like in lockdown together, and a dildo, because there was no other guy. That was I got this from just the thumbnail and the description. I didn't look at
You didn't click on it?
Like, I was giggling, like it. And it takes a fair bit for me to laugh out loud on my own, but I did laugh at this, going, "You've got to be kidding!" And I don't want to look at this, because, like, this is beyond, crazy. But yeah, so there are sort of lockdown porn,
Okay.
It's lockdown porn. But I go there for a lot of amusement, really, because I like to mix it up. I like porn with a plot, so I'll often use there's a subreddit.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah,
because let me tell you, all of it, and this is just my opinion, they all have a formula. You have to add to that formula. You have to make it change a little bit. I need to know names. I need to know who you are. I need to know what your motivation is.
Exactly. Well, actually, you sent me something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, sorry, it was someone else I know.
Yeah, whatever. Go on.
Called Dwayne, and he sent me this thing, and it was something to do with a priest. And
yes.
and the comment was that, this is morally bankrupt. This is really terrible. And I watched it, and you know what? It was very good.
It was one of the better ones, right?
I really enjoyed it, because it had a story.
Yeah.
Even if the story is kind of bad, and I don't think, it's not, well, what destroyed it for me is because when the priest finally got naked, he had tattoos, and I'm like, well, He's not.
Unrealistic.
Yeah, like come on. And like and then you also have you also have this with a lot of porn, because I look at, I do get a lot of laughter enjoyment out of looking at porn. Yeah, as I said, I looked at this thumbnail and that really enjoyed it. I didn't even have to play it, and it was already giving me a great amount of laughter. But you see a lot of younger, porn stars, both male and female, who are covered in tattoos playing, schoolgirls and schoolboys, and
Hmm.
just thinking, yeah, that's exactly what really happens. So I don't know how many kids that you went to school with that were covered in tattoos. Life may be different today, but I just don't find that,
It
believable.
was so unbelievable.
Yeah, and I really have a problem with it. I think if you want to be an actor, you have to keep your canvas, paintable, so
Okay.
you can paint the character onto that canvas. And I think it's the same for porn. I think if you want to be able to play, a schoolgirl, seriously, you can't, have 3/4 of your body covered in tattoos, because people just look at that and laugh,
Hmm.
like me.
All
But
right.
I enjoy the laughter, so don't stop it completely, because I'll have nothing to laugh at.
Okay. Moving on. Have yes you ever just given into a pity fuck?
Yes.
Okay.
Why did
That
you
was so
expect me to
certain
say?
too. That was just like, yep,
Did you
yep.
expect me to say no?
I expected nothing from you. I have no
You, you
expectations at this
expect it.
point.
Well, if you expect nothing, I'll give you lots of it. How about that? Um, yeah, no, I have, and more than once.
I think we've all been at during a certain point of our life where we're having a conversation with someone and you're like, oh, all right, I'll let you suck me.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. I'm not sure whether that would be the statement, but yeah, yeah. And look,
Would you
and
lead them on? You don't seem the type of guy that would like lead them on to believing that there was something above and beyond a sexual experience.
without following through.
Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't. I would hate to feel that I did that, and to sort of negate those feelings, I would follow through.
So
Um,
were you ever someone's first then, and then they totally like latched onto you?
yes,
Okay.
and that's a situation that I don't want to be in again.
Okay.
And so when you
Who
when you
does?
when you asked me the question about, what's my perfect guy, and I was talking about all these married men, the other group of people that seem to be attracted to me are all very young guys, and that's, again, it's problematic, for lots of different reasons, because I think of myself at that age and think, no, you should be with someone in a similar age bracket. Not that I've got any problem against, like, I'm sure there's real relationships out there that do have an age gap, but I think, you need to live and do things a certain way. There's lots of things I just don't want to do anymore, with my life, and I know I would be holding someone back. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I feel, I think a lot of these guys are very attractive, and I think it would be a lot of fun, and but I think, that's not really how it should be. I really think, they deserve more than living an older person's life.
We are in the home stretch. I
My
believe we have
lord.
two more questions left.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And when was the last time you masturbated? Because I'm sure everybody wants to know this. Everybody.
Good question. Um, two two nights ago,
Okay.
I think. Yeah,
In
maybe.
quarantine with free Pornhub
Yeah. So
2 days ago.
So we have to explain something. I work. I'm not one of these lucky people who don't have to continue work. Unfortunately, I can do my job from almost anywhere. So and unfortunately, my day job is getting, busier and busier because of the situation,
Hmm.
because of what the world is going through. So I've got a lot to do, and sometimes I'm just exhausted, and that happens more than more than I would like. And I'm trying to exercise as well. I aim to walk at least 10 kilometers a day. I don't know what that is in miles. I think you told me it was 6 miles or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but 10 kilometers a day, which I have to do at night here in Singapore, because I can't walk in the sun through the day. I can't do that regularly. I do it sometimes, but my regular pattern is to wait until the sun goes down, because then it's still only like, it could still be 30 degrees centigrade, which is quite warm and still quite humid. But at least I haven't got the sun beating down on me. So I really enjoy doing that. But I would get home, and be kind of exhausted, shower, fall into bed, fall asleep. That's usually what kind of happens, because my brain is exhausted. And I've walked that 10 kilometers, which is a nice, good, decent walk. And yeah, my brain and body just go, you know what, I've had enough. And,
Gotcha.
and I go to bed. But yeah, so I would really enjoy having someone here. Like that would be much better. Like imagine, for me, it's imagine what it's like if I wasn't single right now. And it's really, really restricting, it's really restricting, because, there are some guys that, come to me on Scruff and they're saying, you want to hook up? And I'm like, no, because, for one thing,
Check back with me in 60 days.
Well, yeah, but it's illegal here to meet up with friends. You legally can't do that, and there's fines, and you can be in trouble. And because I'm a visitor here to this country, I don't have a right to live here. I'm working here on a visa. If something like that were to happen to me, I could easily get deported, and I don't want to do that. So it's really risky to do it. Like, one thing, it's you're breaking the whole kind of idea of the lockdown, but second, it's just too risky. I don't want to do something that's against the law, because there is law now here in Singapore that says these are certain things you can't do. So do you know what? Don't do them. Very, very simple.
I'm right there with you.
I would love to be here with somebody and be kind of trapped. But I think on the other side of that, I think there's a lot of people that are going to want to get divorced. And imagine if you wanted to break up with someone the day before the lockdown started and all of that kind of stuff. Imagine that. So I think
grass is always greener on the other side.
Exactly.
That really is true. Because we've stopped seeing all the "he is my rock" posts on.
Yeah. Now he's just gravel.
There's memes out there where they're like, just checking in with all of you happy couples out there. I haven't seen any more "he is my rock" and "he is my everything" posts in a while now.
Yeah, she hit him with that rock. That's why he's not been posting anything lately. Yeah, so I think that there might be a few changes after people get out of their various lockdowns around the world. I think it's going to test a lot of people, like living in close quarters, and those restrictions can't be easy. But let me tell you, living alone, having no interaction, no physical human interaction with people, even just interaction at work, which I was kind of used to, having all of that cut off, and having that cut off since March, for me has been really, really not good. It's been difficult at times. So yeah, if I didn't have the ability to go and exercise, which I take full advantage of because I really enjoy it, if I didn't have the chance to do that, I think I'd go mad. But yeah, it's definitely not, and look, I spoke to a friend of mine in Australia, and he said, I'm really getting tired of not having people around, as much as I love my own space, and I know he does too. You really go, I just wish there was somebody. So yeah, living alone right now is very hard, but I'm sure the exact opposite is also true.
Last and final question.
I'm scared.
No, it's pretty damn tame, actually. I mean, I am sure a lot of people thought this would be the whole, well, how big is your dick? Cut or uncut, top or bottom? That's not, I'll let you tell that on your time.
You know what? I didn't think that's what you would ask. I was really worried that you'd get deep and meaningful. And you
Really?
have a little bit, yeah, yeah,
Well,
because you have a probing attitude and a probing mind.
that's not all their probes. All right. So, last question, number
Yeah,
20
yeah.
of getting to know Ross. Do you regret answering any of these questions?
No, not at all.
No?
No, my life is pretty much an open book. Like to the point where I can't go into politics because there are some skeletons there which people would use against me. Um,
Okay.
but for real human beings, your audience, and yourself, so people that want reality, and are not going to try and twist it around to use it against people like politicians would. No, I haven't regretted any of the answers at all. I try and be as honest as I can with people I care about and people that I interact with. Um, and I think that's a really good way to be. Honesty is the best policy. I know that's really corny, but I think it's kind of true. But there's certain places where that would hurt you. So yeah, if you've got an idea of wanting to go into politics, um, don't be on Facebook, don't be on Twitter, don't ever send a dick pic to anybody. There's lots of things that you
Oof.
should not be doing if you think you ever want to get into politics, because that will all come up to haunt you. Um,
I'm out.
well, me,
Um,
me too. I know that's never going to happen. I would
mhm.
like to. I would like to change the world. I would like to, you know, be a good force in the world. But I know that there are too many things that people would latch onto and just try and use it against me, which is not the point. But that's unfortunately what politics has become. So
Well,
yeah. So no, not at all.
you could be a different kind of force for people.
I, the ginger force. So so I know you haven't
You
mentioned anything
have,
about the fact that I'm a redhead. I've got a fiery. I was going to say temper, but an attitude. I think my attitude is pretty fiery, along with the hair. It all matches.
I don't know.
I'm worried what you're going to say now.
No, no, no. I posted that picture on Instagram
Of
of,
me? Oh,
yes.
okay, yeah.
So I just think it's really interesting because now in my feed, all of these red-headed, ginger bearded guys keep popping up.
Now, oh, because they
The
think they,
algorithm, damn it, the algorithm
yeah, they think
gets
they
you
know
every
what
time.
they think they know what you're up to.
Mm, or what I
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. All
I
right.
love it. I
So,
love you, ginger lover.
all right. Well, thank you so much, Ross, for being honest as anybody would be during those questions. I am kind of glad I took a little bit more of the high road, but still, hopefully, I kept it interesting in that respect with some of the questions that I asked. We do have a couple of more episodes together coming up already planned in the works. So I am looking forward to hearing more from you and what everybody thinks of you because from what we've gathered throughout this whole episode, Ross is single, and if you are single yourself, don't have to be completely breathing apparently, but if you are single, Ross is looking. So after quarantine, he's on Gruff, I believe he said. Um, Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Ross, for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you guys soon.